Joining me right now is Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, along with syndicated talk show radio host Chris Hahn. Good to see both you guys. All right, Chris,
Good to see you.
You know, they're talking about some of these states that have been historically blue switching red. Do you throw cold water on that? And if so, why?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be tighter in Michigan than it's been in years. I think that Pennsylvania will be a little bit of a squeaker, but I think the Democrats are going to win both the Senate seat and the presidential race in Pennsylvania today. And I think Michigan will be a little bit tighter than it's been in years. And look, we've seen this. I think Donald Trump touched nerve with some of those white working class voters in the upper Midwest who lost their jobs to international competition. His message on trade was good. Unfortunately for him, that's more than balanced out by him turning off women, turning off minorities of all types.
Okay.
So I don't think that he's got a chance to win those states.
Here's the thing, though, the trade issue. I mean, it seems to me, Leslie, that should have been ripe for the picking for Hillary Clinton. It should have been an issue that the Democrats really embraced. I mean, aren't they supposed to be the party of unions?
Yes, definitely. But remember, part of the problem, and actually Donald Trump was part of that problem, and people seem to forget the number of jobs, thousands, that he shipped to China, Mexico, other countries. And that is something that the blue-collar worker in America,
You're saying as a business owner himself, which I'm just going to jump in because as a business owner, you are going to do what is most efficient. And often that does mean shipping jobs overseas. What he's saying is government needs to intervene. They need to get in there so that I can't, as a business owner, ship those jobs overseas quite as easily as I do. Leslie.
But Democrats have been saying that with their specific legislation that they have proposed in the past to, to hold those corporations accountable via the tax loopholes. So in other words, Democrats and Republicans agree something has to be done with reformation in the taxation system, but they don't have the same way of doing it. The other thing with regard to trade is Hillary with Bernie and the difference in her original support for TPP when she was Secretary of State under President Obama certainly hurt her with some of those voters, no question. And we are seeing some of that, but I do agree with Chris and his projections.
But it's not just TPP, the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership. It's also her coziness with Wall Street. I mean, Chris Hahn, she's out there giving $200,000 speeches, knowing that she's going to run for president of the United States. She knew it would come back to Hunter. Her staff knew it would come back to Hunter, and yet somehow she thinks it's still okay to do that. I mean, those doubts, they are still there in people's minds. They worry that she's not going to fight for them the way Bernie would have, or even the way Donald Trump would.
Let me quote one of my favorite Fox Business hosts, Trish Reagan. As a business person, shouldn't she be able to make money the way business people make money? What are you talking about, Trish? She did that. This is a guy who was selling $2 million apartment buildings on Wall Street, made lots of money on Wall Street. He's a flawed messenger, and that's his problem.
But here's where it gets complicated. She knew she's a politician, right? She's not a business person. I mean, I got to hand it to her. I mean, if you can command $200,000 a speech, wow. But she knew, Chris, that she was going to be running for president of the United States. She knew that she was going to embrace an anti-Wall Street platform. So she had plenty of opportunity to turn these things down. She didn't. All I'm pointing out, Chris, is that this could have been easy for her. If they, well, maybe not her. Because just the challenge of being an actual politician is perhaps part of the underlying problem here. Go ahead.
Trish, nothing worth doing is ever easy. This made it interesting, gave us something to talk about. Hooray for us, hooray for her, hooray for women everywhere, because she's going to be the next president of the United States.
How different would it have been, do you think, if they had put someone, say, that was just a little more politically savvy in terms of getting up, enthusing a crowd, say Joe Biden?
Well, what do we want? Do we want somebody who could do the job or somebody who's great at giving a speech? I guess we want a little bit of both. That's what's wrong with our political system.
Okay, this is interesting. I didn't know this. You're no Joe Biden fan.
Hey, I love Joe Biden. I absolutely adore Joe Biden. He's going to be a great Secretary of State, and I think it's a shame that he didn't get a chance to run for president. But she was the nominee. She worked hard. She deserves this. Congratulations.
I don't know. It's tight. And all I'm saying is, if you guys had put someone else up, maybe you wouldn't be having these nail biters.
Hey,
but anyway.
If John Kasich was running, the Republicans would be doing a whole lot better right now. He's not.
I know Leslie used to say that all along. You always liked John Kasich and thought he was a bit of a threat. Anyway, we will see. We still have many hours to go, and people are still going to the polls as we speak. Leslie and Chris, wonderful to see you both. I got to
Nice to
tell
see
you,
you, Trish.
everybody's watching New Hampshire, my home state, today. Do you know that